Hello there, everybody! I'm Mr. GamePie, and welcome to a new Let's Play. Or, well, sort of a new Let's Play. It's Mega Man 4! Again! Yeah, back in 2011, I made a Let's Play of Mega Man 4. It was the first of my modern Let's Plays, essentially. I mean, I had made like a Sonic 3 and Knuckles Let's Play back in 2008. And I tried to do a few Subspace Emissaries Let's Plays in between there, but like, those were all completely horrible. So I generally consider Mega Man 4 to be the true starting point of my Let's Plays. And man oh man, things have changed since then. But what hasn't changed is that Mega Man 4 is a really great game. And indeed, we have a really great intro cutscene here. This was something fairly new for the Mega Man series at the time. The first three games didn't really have intros. Mega Man 2 had that whole cool, camera scrolling up the building moment, but like, that didn't explain what the plot was. You didn't know what was happening, you just knew that there was a select screen and maybe you had a normal mode or a hard mode to choose from. But here, man oh man, they've got a plot. Mega Man shattered Wily's plans 3 times. Man, oh man, we got a new bad guy in town, Dr. Cossack. And boy, oh boy, he's a dangerous one. He's got a whole slew of robot masters that we're gonna have to beat up with our Mega Buster. This was honestly a major shifting point in the Mega Man franchise, and I feel like it was a major shift for the better. The first 3 games had a lot of really just terribly designed moments that were really unfair and cheap and just a mess. But this is the game where they really start getting their act together. So, here we are. Mega Man 4. Press start. So, we have a whole slew of Robot Masters here, and man oh man, this is one of my favorite sets, honestly. I could potentially start anywhere here. I'm pretty sure I've beaten all these guys Buster only at some point or another. But today, I'm starting with Bright Man, my favorite of the group. That might not be the most popular opinion, but I just really like the guy. I mean, the dude's got a light bulb on his head. He's also the first Robot Master numerically, which means that back in my Robot Master numerical run, I fought him first in this group, so I've certainly done this before. Although that said, he certainly doesn't have the easiest stage around. In fact, I'd say that it's actually, Bright Man in general is probably one of the hardest Robot Masters to start out with. It's got a decent amount of instant death, Bright Man himself is pretty hard, and, I mean, there's just generally some rather tough gimmicks at play. But, yeah, hey, check it out, we got grasshoppers. They don't have much to do with brightness, as far as I'm aware, but they're here. They help you jump over the spikes, because that's the thing, kind of like I said, Bright Man stage, he tends to have a lot of instant death. There's going to be death spikes, death pits, deaths everywhere, all over the place. And of course, over there we have a ladder that could potentially take you up to a health capsule if you needed it, which is pretty good because, I mean, that little mini-boss-ish thing isn't that difficult to beat from the ladder. So if you ever lost health to him, you can actually just safely stand on that ladder as you climb down it, and easily just shoot the very top of him. No problem at all. So this is something that Mega Man 4 introduces to the series, alternate and secret pathways. Indeed, the first 3 games were pretty solidly linear. There was no real exploration to be had outside of your exploration of your abilities. But here in this game, we got all sorts of stuff. And of course, Rush is here as well. Mega Man's helpful dog. I love dogs. They're great. Alright. But yeah, we're starting out with the Rush Coil, pretty standard stuff, and of course we're going to find other Rush forms as time goes on. But yeah, honestly, these spike pit areas with the grasshoppers that are hopping around everywhere, they're probably one of the hardest areas in the stage. Oh, hamsters, that's bad. Alright, we got this. Okay, we don't even, nope, don't even beat the totem, just move on. Just move on with your life, it's not worth it. There we go. Oh, no, that's just unfortunate. Alright, here we go. So, I mean, there's some weapon energy up there if you needed it, but I don't have any special weapons right now. I mean, I guess I could refill Rush, but, like, nah. I don't really need to. Now, for any of y'all not familiar with how I play Mega Man games, I love to use special weapons. I respect people who just tend to use the Buster. That's a viable way to play, and certainly a skilled one at that. But, honestly, a lot of the fun of the... Oh, well, that didn't work. But a lot of the fun that I have from the game comes from, you know, just finding various ways to mess around with the special weapons in unique and interesting combinations of scenarios. Also, I tend to not defeat a lot of these light churning off enemies in this area. It just becomes a lot easier to ignore them with all the pits and the platforms falling and such. This particular enemy right there, that enemy can easily knock you into the endless pit behind you. And as such, it kind of messed me up a lot back whenever I was first playing this game. Also something that messed me up whenever I was first playing this game, Brightman! Despite being the first numerically, he's probably one of the hardest Robot Masters in this set to defeat. He can easily do a lot of damage to you, and his weapon, the Flash Stopper, is incredibly dangerous. It'll stop time, and whenever time is stopped, you can't move. But he sure can! And, Brightman as a whole tends to do a lot of damage. And also tends to be fairly dangerous and unpredictable. Oh my gosh, he didn't actually hit me. That's a miracle right there. But, yeah, Brightman will actually only use his Flash Stopper at, predetermined points of his health bar. Half health, like, a fourth of his health, and an eighth of his health. So, yeah, that's the last time that he's gonna use it. Oh. Oh my gosh, you've gotta be kidding me. You've gotta be kidding me! Well, okay, cool. I mean, it's like I said, Brightman's one of the hardest to start with. I did this to myself, but we're going with it. But yeah, if you hit Brightman with a charge shot at the right time, you can just make him skip the points of his health bar where he would normally use the Flash Stopper. Also, it's kind of weird that Brightman's weapon is the Flash Stopper whenever Flashman's weapon was the Time Stopper. So, like, that's kind of an odd... Oh, good, we actually skipped one of his Flash Stopper uses. Not that one, though. And, yep, that's it. He got me. Oh, and he's got another use in there. Alright, but fortunately, we have a lot of health this time. And a charge shot does 3 damage. Notably, if you're using Brightman's weakness against him, the damage will calculate out so that he will always get to use all 3 uses of the Flash Stopper. Of course, if you hit him with a Mega Buster shot before starting to shoot him with his weakness, then the HP will always be 1 off from his Flash Stopper uses, and he'll never get to use it. But there we go, the Flash Stopper does exactly what you might think it does, by stopping time. And we'll get to see that in Toadman's stage. So we went from a difficult Robot Master to start out with, to one of the easiest Robot Masters to start out with. Indeed, whenever playing normally, Toadman tends to be the Robot Master that I start out with. He's not too tough, and his stage isn't all that difficult either. In fact, this room, if you're playing appropriately, you can actually speedrun it rather effectively. I haven't been playing appropriately, though, so I haven't been speedrunning it very effectively. Although you do need to be careful here, as this rain will push against you, so if you're trying to jump, it'll be hard to move off to the left. Or, it'll be hard to move to the right because it's constantly pushing you to the left. But, yeah, once you get past that room, honestly, the rest of the level is pretty much a cakewalk. There's this water here, which can push you around. Whenever directly underneath the water, you can't jump as high. And whenever on these streams of water, they'll carry you down, as their direction would imply. But these rat enemies are super easy, these amoeba enemies are super easy, like, there's no challenge here whatsoever. Although the last challenge that the level presents is this mini-boss. That is, assuming you don't have this. Normally, this snail enemy will open up his eyes, and this is the only time that he can be hit. You can only hit his eyes, and only whenever they're open. But much of the time, they will be closed. He can sit in his eyes he'll launch his eyes at you, and sometimes he'll shoot bombs out of the top of his shell. However, with the Flash Stopper, you can easily just make his eyes stay open all the time. They probably get dry that way. Indeed, notably, the Flash Stopper doesn't actually stop time. What it does is it emits a powerful flash of light that disrupts a robot's sensors and causes them to flinch and not be able to move. This doesn't necessarily explain why stage hazards can still often, operate as per normal, but that's the lore behind the weapon. This is a bit of a dangerous area right here with the instant death spikes and such. Every area with instant death spikes could be considered dangerous, but it's still nothing beyond what you're capable of handling. Or at least it's nothing beyond what I'm capable of handling, that is. And then we get to Toadman himself! As I stated back in my original Let's Play this game, Toadman is the epitome of strong but stupid. His collision damage, much like all the rest of the RoboMasters in this game, is ridiculous. And if he manages to get his dance off, the Rain Flush is his weapon, and it's a screen-clearing move, which he does indeed use against you as a screen-clearing move. However, if you shoot him before he finishes dancing, he won't be able to use the Rain Flush. He'll be interrupted. And as such, you can just sort of keep him standing here and never doing anything at all. Otherwise, he can hop around if you keep shooting at him repeatedly. And indeed, this is something that people often do, where they'll shoot him multiple times, he'll jump at them, as that's what he does whenever you shoot him multiple times. They'll slide under him, turn around, shoot him multiple times again, he'll jump over them again, and so on and so forth until he dies. Personally, I prefer the interrupt his dance with a shot method repeatedly, over the, play leapfrog with Toadman method. So, aside from getting our screen clearing move of the game, we also get Rush Marine, which isn't super useful, but it's there. Now let's do one last level. Let's do Drillman! Drillman is another one of the more difficult RoboMasters, at least for me in this game. There are people that don't have trouble with Drillman whatsoever, and I envy them. Alright, so here we have Mets. Mets are kind of like the staple enemy in the series. They're the Goomba, I don't know if Sonic has one, the Waddle Dee, so on and so forth. And this game actually has quite a few versions of the Met. Mets have been known to take up quite a variety of capabilities. Every game changes the exact properties of how Mets operate. But this game probably has more variances than any other in the series. This will become quite apparent later on. Alright, so here we have Batauntauns. They're bats. And they're dead, because that's the Rain Flush. You shoot a little projectile up in the sky, and it changes the weather. And that weather is acid rain. Sometimes I might call this weapon the Toad Rain, or maybe the Acid Rain or something. But indeed, the official name is Rain Flush, and the official name is me dying. Now that there's no longer a risky extra life in that corner down there, you might think that I won't die in this room. You're correct in that assumption. Alright, so let's bring out that Flash Stopper again. This is an interesting area, as you can't jump to your maximum height like you can in most areas. Normally, this kind of challenge is reserved for a water level where your jump height is increased. But no, they decided to do it in the ground-based level this time, which is pretty unique, honestly. So let's get some more Rain Flush in here. These enemies are honestly some of the most annoying in the game, these cannons that have the shields on them. The timing for when they're vulnerable is so precise, it's ridiculous, honestly. Alright, another E-Tank. Classic Mega Man item. Whenever you use it, you'll get all your health back. Of course, you can only hold 9 at a time. Alright, so these guys, one of the most annoying enemies in this game. Oh, and here we go. So you see, whenever you get too close to them, they'll, curl up into the ball mode and then start spinning around in an invulnerable state. As such, you really need to defeat them before they get too close to you. It requires a good deal of precision. Alright, I hope y'all are ready for some more Flash Stopper, because that's what we got going on. Normally, the dispensers up there with the arrows will drop rocks on top of you. they're kind of annoying to deal with. So I'm just going to make it so that they don't drop anything on me. A very pragmatic way of dealing with things. Let's just, yep, there we go. Stop time again, and ooh, just barely made that jump. And we got it. No problem. But what might be a problem is Drillman. Drillman is the boss that I am worst at fighting in this game. He doesn't particularly have a discernible pattern, and he is very powerful. Though that said, we also get a very powerful weapon from him. Also, for some reason, lately my controller has been having some issues with sliding. I'm not really sure why. Okay, yep, that just happened. But, hey, yeah, it's the drill bomb. It's a drill, and also a bomb. Who would have guessed? Oh, okay, Mega Man. Yep, you fire right then. Ah! That was actually, I was doing fairly well there. Well, another try for me. Alright, Drill Man, yep, that's right. You get grounded. Whoa! Okay, yep, you just jump right at me. I reacted to that in a, completely incorrect fashion. Yeah, whenever Drill Man pops out of the ground, it's actually, well, whenever he goes into the ground, it's typically, more of an advantage for you than for him. Like, sure, you can't damage him right now, but it's typically not that difficult to avoid whenever he's getting out of the ground. And you always get a free shot whenever he finally pops back up. Oh, here we go. One shot left. There we go. He's beaten. Yeah, so whenever he fires the drill bomb, they can reflect your shots, so you need to fire around them if possible. And he can detonate them mid-air, as you can as well. It's a lesser-known feature of the drill bomb. But there we go, 3 Robot Masters down. Some of the toughest ones at that. And we get the Rush Jet Adapter, so now we have both Rush adapters. Very nice. So with that said, I'm Mr. Game Pie, and next time, we'll be taking a dive. See you then!